Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Sex, Lies, and Consciousness with your luscious hostess, May Vu, broadcasting live every Monday at 12 noon Pacific Time.
Hello, everyone. This is May. I am so excited to talk about this conversation with you today. Something happened, something big happened this past weekend, and I just feel so privileged to get to experience it and now to get to talk about it. So for the longest time, in the last 7 years since I've been seriously working on expanding my sex and healing all my sexual trauma and limitations and really just opening myself up to and allowing myself to experience with my sex, I've always had this secret desire of squirting. I've seen it on on several porn sites, and if she can do it, I want to do it. Why can't I do it? And what does it take to do that? Is this some kind of chalice or some kind of pilgrimage that I have to go on to get there? And what kind of thing do I have to work on and all this stuff? Until one day, very recently, I met a young man named Ben Rode, and I met him at a meetup that I was putting on, and I asked him what he did, and he said, yeah, I work with women and teach them about G-spot massages and create sexual healing for them. And I looked at him and I go, do you know how to teach people to squirt? And he said, yeah, May, that's exactly what I do. Female ejaculations. I'm like, oh my God, I want to learn how to do that. So Ben said, yes, I'll do a session for you. So that's what I got on Saturday. I got a session with Ben and Jen, because it's no longer just Ben, but Ben got married in the last few months since I met him. And Ben and Jen have teaches women and create powerful sacred experiences for us to break through our own whatever that we got going on down there that stop us from really enjoying our sex, and go right into this amazing female ejaculations place, not just for pleasure, but for deep emotional healings and powerful reclamations and all that stuff. So that's what I want to share with you, the little details of what happened on Saturday. And Ben and Jen, come join us.
Awesome. Hi,
Yay.
May.
Hi, May.
Oh, this is so fun. I love this. What a great opportunity, May. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
That's what you're supposed to say on a radio show, right? Is thanks for having us?
No. I have to tell you, I've been like the popular girl at the parties, because after our sessions, I went to 2 different parties, and one, I walked in and I couldn't help myself. I was glowing, and people were making comments like, what's going on with you? Why are you glowing? And I said, well, I just learned to squirt today.
Yeah, and it's not even about the squirting. It's just about the full release. The full release, and the squirting is just a consolatory prize. And I keep telling women that, yeah, when you're done, you're going to go out. You're going to go to a bar. You're going to go to a club. You're going to go to a meetup group or whatever, and you're going to walk in and you're going to be glowing, and people are going to come talk to you, and they're going to ask you what's going on, and men are drawn to you, and not even like hitting on you. It's they'll come up and they'll say, what's going on? You're glowing. Hi, I want to talk to you.
Well, that's what happened. I went to a party on Sunday, and I hadn't thought much about it, and I walked in and I met a whole bunch of people, and to be honest, this is not just your regular people that, all this stuff. These people are they're somewhat conscious, and they're on their way, that kind of stuff. And so this one guy who's looks like a big hippie, and he spins fire, and I started talking to him, and he's very esoteric, and, and he talked about the energy of sex and all this stuff, and the Tao of sex, and, the Buddha, secret sexual teaching from the Buddha and all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, that's really big, Meanwhile, all the other guys were around, and they kept looking at me, and I'm like, okay, what's up, guys, And then finally they got brave, and they came up, and they go, so, tell me what you do. And I'm like, yeah, I do a radio show on sex, lies, and consciousness. And they're like, yeah, tell us more about that. That was their doorway to come in and talk actually, the esoteric guy said, to be honest, I had to tell you, when you came in, I saw. I was the first thought that came to my mind was, who is this woman and why does she have so much around her? How did she have access to so much sexual power around her? And I'm like, really? That's so awesome. That's what I want to be known for.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just who you are. That's really who we all are as women. And that it's just grounding. I mean, those lower chakras, once you clear them, it's that grounding energy. You're grounded in yourself. Your solar plexus is your power center. And it's that creative energy as well. The sacral chakra holds that creative energy. It's that sexual energy. And yeah, I mean, that's what draws everyone in, women, men. People are just drawn to that power, So, I love it.
And it's so funny because plus years ago, I remember going on the internet and stumbling on at that time it was called the Tickle website, and they give quizzes and things, and one of the quizzes that they gave was how clear are your chakras? And my quiz result came back was that I was blocked in my first and second chakra, the creative and the primary force, right? And I was on a quest to open that up all this time. So I'm so excited to have it reflected back this way. So anyway, I want to slow us down and give the audience a little play-by-play what happened on the event.
Great.
But first we have to let you guys introduce yourself. So will you formally introduce yourself or each other so that they kind of have an idea of who you are and what your background is?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm Ben, Ben Rohde, and I don't know. I was called to this. I just ended up here. I've been studying sex and psychology and hypnotherapy and neurolinguistics programming for the last 10 years. I actually read my first book on sex when I was 17. I knew it was something that I needed to master, and I read Complete Idiot's Guide to Sex and Sex for Dummies when I was 17. And then
were those books? Do you recommend those books?
I don't remember. I'm sure they're fine, but they're not in my collection anymore. But anyway, so then I started studying psychology and the way the brain works and how to help people transform and how to transform myself. And it's been my quest in my life to make myself the best possible and transform those around me and bring them up and so they can push me farther. And then a few years ago, so when I was 22, I was engaged. And we had a great relationship. She would squirt all the time, and sex was amazing. It was wide open, nothing holding back. And then a few years in, we got engaged, and then it started falling apart. She started getting closed off, and she would get up and go pee. Every time she would almost orgasm, she'd get up and run and go pee because she had to pee. And so we saw a sex therapist, and I didn't really know exactly what I was doing at the time, and the sex therapist didn't really tell us what we needed to know, which was that when she has to pee, all she needs to do is let it go, and she'll ejaculate, and it's not pee, and it's fine, and that could have saved our marriage, or we would have gotten married. But I'm glad it didn't work out because I have an amazing life now.
I'm glad it didn't work out too.
So thank God for sex therapists not knowing what they're talking about sometimes. Anyway. So that's another reason that I got so excited about this is that this can save relationships, and it does save relationships. And so then I got into hypnotherapy, and I realized that I had several clients say, "This is sexual healing. What's going on?" And I'd say, "I don't know." So it was a pattern, and so I reverse engineered it and realized that. In orgasm, they've done brain scans on women's brains during orgasm, and in orgasm, her brain lights up. The PET scans show the brain shutting down. fMRI scans show them lighting up, and it's just they measure two different things. So I'm not going to go into detail about that, but what it is a huge state of trance. It's a trance state, and so we throw in affirmations and all that. And really that's what got me into this, is realizing how effective it is. And then Jen came into my life and really so I was doing the body work and the mind work, and then she came in and started doing energy work, and just the synergy that started coming along. It's just, the synergy is amazing. And then having that feminine energy there, and just, she's just so comforting, and I'll let her talk to you about all that.
Aww.
Jen.
So I'm Jennifer Rohde, Ben's other half.
She really is.
A really sexy better half, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, thank you. Sexy. It takes one to know one sexy woman.
The Uma Thurman kind of sexy, dangerous better half. So anyway.
Thank you. I like that. So, yeah, I mean, I've kind of had my own path and my own journey, and I grew up in a very strict Catholic family where, you know, there was just a lot of, you know, sexual repression, and we're just finding more and more that is more common than not. And I also, like you, May, I mean, I experienced sexual abuse as a child, and it was something that, you know, was just kind of shoved under the rug, and was something, you know, you don't even talk about it. And so I, too, just kind of went on a journey for, you know, trying to figure myself out and trying to find out how to heal myself. And I went through a lot of therapy and, you know, studied a lot on spirituality and different religions. And the first thing that really, really started helping me and healing me was when I started learning about Reiki, and I started learning about energy work, and I started clearing my energetic body. And it's just a lot of self-healing. I did a lot of self-healing, a lot of forgiveness. And so that's been just the path that I've been on. But still, I mean, I've been doing Reiki for about 5 years now, and still the hardest chakras that I've found to clear in men and women, and particularly women, are the lower chakras. They're more dense, there's more stored there, and anytime that we have, you know, whether it's emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, trauma, and anything that women have stored regarding, you know, so often we just disregard our femininity, you know, our own feminine energy, our own sexual energy. You know, so many women even have issues around, you know, regarding, you know, oh, it's that time of the month, it's my period or whatever. And what that really is rejection of the feminine. It's rejection of our own bodies. So, yeah, so I've just been working on, you know, clearing all of that and just bringing the body back into harmony. And when I met Ben, it was like finding the missing link. It was like finding that last missing piece. Yeah. And he just heals the physical, and so to heal the physical piece as well as the etheric body piece, you know, the combination has been really empowering, and it had really powerful results for both of us, and myself included. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Great, thank you for that context of where you've come from. One of the things that Ben didn't say that I just thought it was so funny when I was talking to him on Saturday, and he said, yeah, you know, my previous job was like I used to deliver Breyer's ice cream or something like that for the grocery stores, and after that, you know, I was postal mailman, and that's when I met Ben, actually. And I just thought, that is so hilarious. You got to come on the show and introduce yourself that way, you know. Yeah, how did you learn to do this, Ben? And well, you know, I was a postal deliverer, a mailman, and you know, as I walk my route, I like listen to all these books on this and all this to learn and teach myself how to do this. Do you think the juxtaposition of that is so powerful?
Yeah. I've had many jobs, and I've lived many lives, and I feel like each one has been a stepping stone, the next rung in the ladder to get me where I am. I mean, my mailman job gave me 10 hours a day to listen to audiobooks and listen to seminars and have conversations with people. I was on my phone all day long, coaching people, learning, listening. And I would pull over my mail truck and take notes on what I was listening to about whatever it was. And I
think that's so dedicating, and so, you know, it's like I can feel, and now that I've done the beginning of the work with you, I could just feel the depth of your caring and the wisdom that's wanting to flow through you, and that's teaching you as you step into doing this. So anyway,
thank you.
Onward with Saturday. So I told Ben, I said, Ben, I have 2 hours. Come and give me the experience, and then we'll talk about it on Monday. Just typical, woman who denies her sexuality and her feminine side. And Ben thought about it and told me back. He said, it's such sacred work and everything, so I think we need 3 hours to do it. And, Jen and I will come down and bring the massaging table and set it all up, blah, blah, and we'll do that. And, of course, I got back and said, Ben, you got 2 hours. That's his heart. He did it in 2 hours. So what happened was that Ben brought his table and set it all up, and I had my boyfriend, and I should call him my man friend because we're way boyfriend.
He's a man.
He is a man.
And my dear friend from Canada who's visiting and who's staying at my place, I think she was just captive audience. She didn't have a place to get to, but anyway, I'm like, hey, honey, you get to do this with me. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, she participated fully. She jumped in with both feet.
Yeah.
She was amazing.
Anyway, and I actually invited 2 other girlfriends because I knew that this work was so important, and I wanted them to experience. And, of course, they had reason to not be there. I understand. So, anyway, we had 4 of us, Ben, and my man and my other friend who was there, and all 4 of them put me on a table, butt naked, and just started rubbing me and giving me this deep, intentional massage and grounding so that I could really surrender and feel at ease and be able to open up sexually.
Yeah.
That in itself, would have been a lot of hiccup and everything for me in the past, but I have done a lot of work with my bodies and all this stuff and working in groups and all that, so it wasn't quite so bad or scary to be on that table, to be honest. So I thought it was all system go, everything should be easy, I'm ready, and I've been wanting to, ejaculate for so long that all system go. And then Ben said, okay, now it's for you to turn it on and release your sexuality and allow it to flow. And there was nothing. It was completely inside me. I mean, this is someone who, just before you got there, Ben, half an hour ago, I was just walking to the store next door and was just telling my friend, I'm like, sometimes I just want to take one of these guys home and just fuck them and ride them and then send them back. Sexual energy, and she doesn't flow all the time, But I lay on that table and everything shut down, which was very normal, by the way. Whenever I'm in a situation that is, like a classroom environment, or, we are not here for sex, we're here because of spiritual enlightenment, I go dead. There's nothing there.
Yeah. That's very common. It's common. I mean, our society raises us to not enjoy this. It's a bad thing. And so, yes, even if we're here for pleasure, and that's why we're all here, it's that conditioning that'll shut you down.
Well, I knew that mentally, but I really didn't know what it was for me emotionally until that's what happened. I lay there and bless my dear boyfriend, man friend, he didn't want another man's hand into his woman's vagina, so he took the pose. It's like, I know how to get her off. I know how to do G-spot massages. I know. I've seen her squirt before, and I'm like, well, I don't know. Was that squirting, or did I just pee on the bed? So there was just all this resistance and unknown for me. And until, Ben taught me that, that is when you do that. Why don't you just explain that part, Ben? Because the way you say it so clearly, it's like, reassure us that whatever wetness come out of us is female ejaculation.
Yeah, so the female ejaculate, it's actually prostatic fluid, and it's created in the female it's created in the Skene's gland, which they're still trying to figure out exactly what's going on down there. But it's not pee, and if you pee beforehand, then you know it's not pee during. And so I usually won't let women get off the table, and I say, no, you got to pee now. Like it's not pee. And so anything that's holding you back, any kind of I think I'm going to pee, I think I'm going to poo, whatever, let it go. It's much better to let go and be fully relaxed and fully released, and let your body just be comfortable and do its thing. We've been peed on, we've been pooed on. It's all good.
Well, sorry. Right there, I have to just pause this for a second, because for a woman, that is so impossibly hard. It's like,
I know.
I've had lovers say, it's okay, you can pee on me, and I'm just like, oh no, baby, that is so not happening today, and not with this chick, It's like, oh no,
right.
We have lifetimes of control, and
but even, and I completely 100% hear what you're saying too, because let me tell you, like when Ben and I first got together, I didn't want to poop in front of him in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an issue, and it's very real.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I started thinking about it, and I'm like, where is my issue about this? Like, I'm comfortable with myself, and I'm not one of those girls. I grew up on a farm. I was a preschool teacher for 10 years. So you can poop in front of me and do whatever, and I don't get offended. Why am I worried about offending someone else or, my own body? And I really had to look deep inside and have a conversation with myself about it. And Ben really kind of has been able to guide me through it, because it really, all of that, even those processes are, rejecting, it's all rejecting of the self. These are all natural body processes that as women we've rejected. And so gaining back even that piece of ourselves is important. It's so valuable. But yeah, I hear you and I get it too,
So this conversation was exactly the conversation that we had a few moments before I got on the table on Saturday. Like I was in the kitchen and I'm like, all right, Ben, talk to me about this whole peeing stuff, because that's what it feels like to me. And I just like do my best to hold it together and blah, blah, blah. And I have found myself, sniffing my sheets once in a while going, was that pee or is that something else? I can't tell, Is that the right thing, or is that disgusting, or am I just disgusting, or whatever? And that's really what lived in me. So Ben already assured me that, that's where we're going. So as I lay on that table, I wasn't even worried about that, because I had full permission to pee. But still, I was still shut down, and I couldn't figure out until as Jen was doing energy work on me, and they tap into something intuitive, and they said, this has something to do with your childhood. And boom, it hit me that what happened. And this thing that I'm about to tell you, it's like I've been working through it for many years, and it's actually not, I don't have the same relationship with this event like most people have. And I'm not in denial about it either. But it's like, for me, it's like I do feel acceptance of it, and I do feel like it's not something that haunts me. I don't feel wounded by it. I don't feel trapped by it. I don't have any resentment toward it. I feel okay with it enough that I could even talk to you on the show about this right now. So I just wanted to lay that context out first. So try to look at it from my perspective rather than from others' wounded perspective that most of the time when this topic is presented, that's what people go to. What happened for me on that table was that as my boyfriend tried to, massage my yoni, my vagina, inserted his finger and go for the G-spot, and everyone else was watching and holding space and helping me, feel that. What I got in touch with was this moment in my life when I was 15 or 16, when my dad was teaching me about sex, because that day I was sick and I missed the sex education in class, and then I was at home, and then he asked me if I wanted to learn, and I said yes. And so he was trying to explain how the penis and the vagina work and blah, blah, blah. And then he asked me if I wanted to experience what it feels like having my vagina rubbed on. So he touched me and rubbed me. And I I lay there and was very professional and very responsible, and I never that's where I first started shutting that whole desire down, because I can't show desire in front of my dad, and this feels weird and it doesn't feel right, but it does feel right, but then it doesn't feel right, and it's all this confusion in my head. So as I lay on the table on Saturday, all of that came out. I was just like, oh my God, there it is, there it is. And all of this thing that happened in my past after that, like he actually continued to visit me for many nights for like 6 months or something. That's where it got really confused for me. And that's where I just had I knew that he needed something, and, all this crazy stuff that happened. So I was like unaware, but totally just here I was on Saturday getting in touch with this big old thing that, I have to get to say yes or no to this, or else it's going to feel just like when I did way back when as a child.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, first of all, thank you so much for your honesty. I just love how honest you are in every perspective, every way, that just everything about you.
Yeah, it's important.
It really is. And I mean, that's where you get your power back. And that's where, it is a big deal. And at the same time, it's not. I mean, the most important thing that I've found for so many women is that just talking about it like you're doing, and just not being scared of it, and not being, embarrassed by it or shamed by it, just communicating about it, because it is those times when we don't talk about it, that's when it becomes even, a bigger issue. And that was my experience with the stuff with my family too. So, the more that we talk about it, the more that we share, because this is something that happens,
And then that way it doesn't repeat as well.
It doesn't repeat, exactly. That's really how we prevent it from repeating, yeah.
I find it really hard to talk about it right now too, because there's a part of me that's just like running around in my head, worrying about how the audience would receive this. It's like I don't want to say, oh yeah, I was molested, and I don't want not to say, oh yeah, I was molested either, because I don't know what it was. I just know that it was a very confusing time, and it had a huge impact in my life, and I'm not wounded by it. However, it's definitely a lesson that I learned from, and every 10 years of my life, there's a new layer of understanding for myself.
Absolutely.
To me,
you're very brave.
That's much more.
Sorry, me. Go on.
To me, that's much more important than labeling it as, were you abused at the child or whatever. I don't care about all that stuff. I love my dad. I've forgiven all the whole experience, and this experience is so precious to me to really keep learning from. And it was such an enlightening moment on Saturday to see that that's how I have been living my life, is that when I'm in a situation where I need to be proper, which is 99% of the time, I shut that whole part down. I don't let any of that flow, because, that's so inappropriate. You can't let yourself look excited, in front of your dad. You can't let yourself look excited in front of men. You can't let yourself look I wonder I'm stuck down there.
Yeah, and it's so interesting, the conversations we have with ourselves about that regarding strength. I mean, there's a conversation even going on in your mind, and I've done the exact same thing where, it's like, I need to be strong. I need to, I can't show this or whatever. And it's like, no, it's like that real strength comes in that raw emotion when you get in touch with your emotions and you feel everything. And I love the fact that you're not labeling yourself. You're refusing to label yourself in one way or another. No, this was an experience, and this is something that there is so much to learn from. And not only to learn from, but this also is defining, it has defined your life purpose in many, many ways. And that's what I realized with mine when things started to shift for me with my experience as well, was just exactly the forgiveness, and then people are people, and everyone is human. And how can I use this to learn and grow for myself, and then help other people learn and grow too, because that's what life's about. It's not about labeling yourself. And
And for me, Jen, what was so amazing about the Saturday experience and the clarity that it brought for me was that I saw how my responsible self play out. I saw how at that age, at 15, I made a contract with the world that I didn't realize I made. Was like,
absolutely,
you put your sorrow on my bosom, I will hold you. You can use my body, you can use whatever. I have the capacity to love you and heal you, and it's okay, and I will put aside my own confusion or needs or whatever so that I can be of service to you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the higher self. I mean, that really was your higher self coming through, and I love that you recognize that. Yeah, absolutely. It's all beautiful. It's all perfect.
It is, but then I also saw how a glitch in my in how I work with my higher self. Yes, I get that my higher self has work to do, and that she can heal people in the world. And where I suppress myself and my sexuality, where it shuts that down, and I disconnect from my sex. That's what I got so clear on that table. It was just like, oh my gosh, this is what happened. And so then the redoing of that was so exciting. When then you taught me on the table to say, okay, now May, practice this, stop, and make everybody's hands. Even though they were serving me, I get to say stop, and everybody took their hands off of me, and then I get to purposefully direct. I'm like, okay, now your hands can come back on my knees, and your hand can go back onto my head, and your hands can start to touch the outside of my vagina. Like, that was really powerful for me to do that, so that I can say to myself, this is no longer about me putting myself aside to heal the world or to heal my dad or whatever. It's about me saying, do this for me, for my own pleasure.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah, it's taking your power back. Absolutely.
Own it. Yeah.
That whole area started open up, and I can then really feel good. I can receive the fingers. I can receive the stroke. I can start to feel all of that. Before that moment, I couldn't feel anything. It was just like a numbing experience.
Yeah, you were dissociating, and you know, when you ask for their hands to be on you, for our hands to be on you, and you're directing us, you're opening up, and your entire physiology just changed immediately, and your energy started flowing, and the look on your face was different.
Yeah, the look on your face was like priceless. You were just glowing, and it was just this beautiful, I don't want to say, it felt very innocent, and at the same time very powerful. You know, it's that simultaneous innocence and power, you know.
I felt it, and it was such a profound statement to get to say, yes, you may touch that part for my pleasure. You know, like, may I touch may I rub your vagina for your pleasure, May? And I'm like, oh yes, you may do that. And you know, it was just so different than how I was trained, or how I trained myself up to that moment. So that's where the you know, it's hard to talk about sexual healing. Like, what does that look like? And I'm trying to give you an image, a picture of that. You know, that's what happened, was just like every word that I got to say just totally turned that for me, and my body just felt really empowered. And I start out as an empowered woman, but that was really so awesome and so healing. I was like, thank you for cleaning the gunk out. You know, let me take that back.
Yeah, and that's something that all women need to realize, is that, I mean, first of all, like, it's so much more than just healing sexual abuse. Like, it's just, you know, it's just an opening of, I mean, our society, like you're talking about this, just gives us these messages that we need to shut our body down. We need to ignore our quote-unquote private parts.
Yeah.
And we dissociate from it. And, you know, and then women think, oh, I don't need that. Sexual healing, I'm fine, thanks. And the thing is, you know, everyone needs to be opened up. I mean, you can have your own sex radio show and, you know, your own whatever, and still have that one piece of you that is still holding back. And, you know, so, like, it's so amazing, you know, when a woman will say, I don't need this. And then, you know, after 15 minutes, she's like, okay, but maybe I'll try it. And then she sees the benefits, and then she gets on the table. But then when she gets in it, I mean, you just like she'll be face down, and you just touch the back of her leg, and she'll start bawling, and all these memories come up, and you know, and it's totally healing anyway. And And then the transformation that happens after that, I always say that you can't possibly see yourself on the other side of a transformation just because it's impossible. Like the reality that we live in now, the world we live in now, you're looking at it through a lens of repression, trauma, pain, just ignoring whatever it is.
Yeah. Well,
and
I think it's more subtle than that. It's almost like it's not even an act of conscious ignoring. It's more like we're so used to living with life as is, we're numb to it, and we're so used to tolerating it that way that we don't ask for more. We don't even know, and we're so trained that, oh my God, anything that comes close to, this is what I do in the world. I go and stick my fingers into your vagina and I rub this spot and I make you ejaculate and then you'll feel good and then it's just like we're so trained to hear that as that is just the weirdest thing ever.
Yep. Yeah, and it took me a long time to own it, to be able to like confidently see or realize what I do and express it to other people. And what it really took was seeing all the change and seeing all the women that were just transformed by it, and finally having enough experiences that I could say, okay, I own this, and I am here to help you. I'm here to serve you, and even if you don't think you need it or want it, that's fine. I'll be right here when you're ready for it.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to be beneficial to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm serving. That's what I'm doing.
Let me take a quick break. And then when we come back, we'll tell the next part of the story, which is beyond the emotional healing. Now we go to like the actual, like, oh my God, what did it take to get me to that place of like going over the edge and just really, really ejaculate and really just like, that was so exciting. So
great.
Stay tuned for a few seconds here.
Is your marriage or relationship in crisis? Where one partner wants to expand into their sex and bring scary changes to the relationship, while the other partner is dug in, protective, and saying, no way in hell is this going to happen. May knows this place well, and she can help both sides. She is truly amazing. Learn more about her specialty, crisis coaching for couples and individuals, at sexliesandconsciousness.com.
Okay, we're back. Today I am talking with Ben and Jen Rohde of Explosive Sexual Healing. So, and we were I'm in the middle of retelling the story of what happened 2 days ago when Ben and Jen worked with me for the very first time. And I was on a table and they were working on my vagina so that they could help me get to the female ejaculation part and release all everything in there. Ben and Jen, are you back with me?
We are.
We're listening intently. What's she going to say next? This is amazing.
And then what happened, May and Ben and Jen?
Exactly.
And then what happened was that, so now it's time to like really amp up. Do I need to describe what a yoni massage is or G-spot massage, you think?
I don't think so.
Okay.
If you feel, I mean, you're the host. Yeah, describe that.
I'm asking the audience. I'm like, do you guys need me to explain that? It's like basically that's when your partner uses 2 or 3 or 1 fingers inside your vagina and really consciously massage all the parts that make you really squirm and go crazy over. I mean, you can't help it. When he's on the spot, you are on it. It's one of the very blessing in life. There's no settling. There's no mistaken identity here. It's like when they're on the spot, it's on the spot.
Found it.
Found it. There it is. She's not going to be able to lie. You can't do any of your regular games when someone is rubbing your G-spot.
Yeah. Good luck. And that's why I chose it. You know what? I've studied a lot. I've studied oming and all that, and really, I tap into the G spot. Like, I'm at home when I'm touching the G spot. When I was doing my sexological bodywork training, we did anal massage and the pelvic bowl inside the anus.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wasn't at home there. I couldn't feel it. I wasn't tapped in. But as soon as we got back to the G spot massage, I just took a deep breath and I knew exactly where I was. I was home. And so the yoni massage always starts out with, I don't even like calling it yoni massage, but y'all in the spiritual field love that stuff. So yoni massage, I'll start out with just massaging the outer labia and the inner labia, and I'll even use orgasmic meditation to work the clit a little bit and get her aroused. And that first step, when you build the arousal, that's what you need to you need the arousal built before you even go inside. So I don't ask permission to go inside, and then I start working out, massaging the inside.
I find it very disrespectful when somebody, when a player or a lover that I play with, where they just kind of like go beeline right into my vagina.
Right.
Without massaging the outside and, like saying hi and properly sit down and have tea first, before you kind of go in there.
Yeah, you need to be invited in.
Yeah, you need to be invited in. And the vagina, really does have a real invitation. Like, when she doesn't want you in there or when she's not ready, when she's ready. She will open and come and meet you and invite you in. So anyway.
Yeah.
So we get past that point, and Ben is on the spot, and he's going at it. And at that point, I so trained to, like, stop and push his hands out, and, it's too good. It's too good. I can't allow it to be that good.
Yep, it gets intense.
Right. And it's just kind of like a funny metaphor for life. How often do we push away life because it's too good, I can't handle it, something bad kind of thing, right? So, but
so true.
Thank God for a trained teacher, right? So he just kept going at it, and then meanwhile, Jen is like holding the energy and clearing all sorts of shit out, and she's like.
Synergy. She's so good.
You look a little bit like a witch doctor at that moment, like carrying all these things out, and I'm just loving it. I'm like, okay, whatever I'm doing, I'm surrendering. Just take it from me.
My witchy woman.
Yeah, and thank you so much for like pushing over, and oh my God, that was so incredible. It's like, I swear to you, it felt like my body was going to break. Like something inside was so high strung that it was going to break. And so that's why my natural inclination was to just like stop, dim it down, not so much. I can't handle that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that's the thing. A lot of women think, I can't do this because I have a boyfriend or I'm married or whatever. But the thing is, like, when we're in that relationship, we have our shit, we have our walls up, we have our games, we have our stories, and so you don't allow yourself to fully release. And the thing is, like, if you have your boyfriend, if a woman has her boyfriend working on her G-spot and then she starts crying, he stops and he says, I'm sorry, what did I do? Are you okay? And she's like, you just don't get it, So you really need someone that can handle what comes up, know what comes up, and guide you through it and let you know that, this is going to be intense. This is going to be the most intense thing you've ever had, and you're going to want me to stop. And so that's what she has to tell her boyfriend if she wants him to do this. I'm going to want you to stop, and you're just going to need to keep going and going until – and the thing is, it's the most intense thing you've ever felt until you go over into orgasm. Once you cross into orgasm, the sensation changes immediately into the most pleasurable sensation you've ever had in your life. And then once you've had that experience, it doesn't go back to being that sensation like, I don't know what's going on, do I want him to stop, what's going on, like, because you get it. And so every time it happens, like, you come longer, you come harder, you come easier. I mean, it gets to the point where from no arousal, you could be solving math problems and have your man his finger inside you, and you're coming within 30 seconds. buckets and buckets for 15 minutes at a time, you know? Yeah, so it's also a practice, you know, and
it's such
intense.
a beautiful world that we're living into now.
I know, it's magic.
I have to tell you, the whole time I was like, oh my God, I live in a fourplex. There are neighbors all around me, and I can't control it. I mean, like, if this guy keep pushing me over here, I am going to have to, like, scream as loud as possible because it's just so intense. And it was just, like, such a struggle between the noise thing and then the sensation thing and then the worrying about my body was going to break and you know, he's going to hurt me in some way.
And that's the thing. That's what we're taught in our society is that we need, you know, like that you needed to not be loud. You needed to not express yourself. You needed to hold back. And so, like, in our, like, real sessions where it's just Jen and I, and I hope you're going to experience this, but it's you're encouraged to release, and you're going to scream. You're going to scream louder than you've ever screamed.
And we'll scream with you.
Oh, yeah, we're screaming. We're right there with you.
We're feeling it with you.
We're crying with you. We're screaming with you, and it's just the most beautiful thing that we've ever seen with that your full feminine expression, your feminine divinity. You know, I mean, it's your birthright to express that and be yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Not to worry about, you know, offending your neighbors or whatever. Our neighbors know what we're doing.
Oh, yeah, they all know. You're doing another session. Go get them.
Yeah.
But honey,
that's the killing part.
My neighbors are 3 single women, and I don't think they're getting anything, you know? So
Exactly.
Oh, they're probably not. Send them over. Send them to us.
I so want to invite you guys back over here and then invite them down. It's like, okay, I know. Either you're going to, like, petition to have me kicked out of this space or you're going to love me for the rest of your life.
Oh, no, they're going to love you. Yeah, they might pretend like they're going to petition you at first, but they'll be curious and they'll be envious, and then they'll come on over.
Oh, it's too much fun. But anyway, so the moment came where Ben pushed me right over, and I swear I squirted like a porn star.
You were the best porn star ever. I believe your boyfriend was filming it, too. Keith was amazing.
Man,
clip of that. You know, I'm going to have to post it on the website so that we can just see that. It's really cool. It's very short. It's like, to me, it was like a lifetime, but watching it on video, it's very short, but it's just, it was such a welcoming sight because it was just like, you know, like this puddle of water spew out of my vagina and like kind of like slap onto my shoulder, you know, and I'm like, wow, now that's some projection here, you know, like I'm so excited. And then for Jen and Ben to say, honey, let's go again. That was just the first load. You got at least 2 more loads inside you. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yep.
Well, it's our favorite part. So it really is. It's my favorite part to watch. I mean, we love the whole experience, but you know, the first time that Ben had me doing the process, I was actually like, he describes it as like me as like a little kid, like dancing in the rain, which it sounds absolutely terrible, but I was so thrilled, and I was so honored just to be a part of that. And it's just so beautiful.
Watching that release, like watching her be in her femininity, you know, and experiencing her full-on pleasure. Like, that's a full release. To be able to come that hard is a full release. You can't hold back and come that hard. And when she's there, it's feeling.
This is just so pushing up against all of that training that we've had. I mean, like, the proper girl and all this stuff, it's so crude. I mean, like, a puddle of liquid come out of vagina and spew up and slap yourself on the shoulders, you know? It's like, it's like that's not what my mother taught me. You know, my mother taught me to be clean and neat and orderly down there and do not smell and, you know, always.
And even for your listeners that are listening right now that are thinking, oh, this is too much for me. This is crazy. This show, these guys, you know. Like, I mean, that's holding back. That's repression. You know, it's repressing sexuality. And when you fully release that, you're like, oh, I get it now.
It's
what was I thinking?
It's such a celebration. It just feels like a big celebration. I don't know.
It really was. I want to emphasize that it was a huge celebration for me. It was just a huge breakthrough. And I mean, my decision to not go for the second and third load was really 2 things. One was absolutely there was a part of me that kind of go, oh no, that would be way too much pleasure and way too much thing. My body can't handle it. So I want to be honest about that. It was just like, honey, this is way much more than I can handle already. Let me just like build up some strength and muscle. Maybe use an exercise that I could do to prepare for it.
Yeah.
But there was the other part of me that just go, and I did want it to go slower and like really savor that, just like live with that. I mean, like, oh my gosh, it was incredible. That was a huge breakthrough, and I just loved it. And I cried and cried and cried and cried afterward. It wasn't sad, and it wasn't wounded either. It was like I really got in touch with, I want my sex back. And it was a conversation to me. It was not a conversation to my boyfriend or to anybody. It was a conversation to me. It's like, I want my sex back. I want it fully. I want full ownership over this. You know, it's almost like it's a slave to someone else, and now I want to buy the right to her back or something. You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Give me my body back. Exactly. Yeah.
Give me my orgasm back. Give me all of it back, not all the things that I've done up to now was like prepared to get there, and this was like, I still want the whole thing back. I'm ready for the whole thing.
Yeah, take it. It's yours.
Mm-hmm.
Your birthright.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. It was just, I just feel like an Eagle Scout or something. I earned an Eagle's badge or something.
Oh, you earned much more than that, May.
Rites of passage.
Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
I need to bring us to a close. As promised, you know, the hour goes by really fast. And will you just tell them a little bit about how, if they want to find you, where would they find you, and what's a good beginning step for them so that they can get a little closer to what you do?
Awesome. Yeah. How much time do we have?
You have about 10 minutes.
Okay, great. I'll be quick.
That would be very boring. Yes.
Okay, so you can find us at www.explosivesexualhealing.com, and you can get both of our phone numbers and email addresses on there. And so I want to say real quick that Jen also does Reiki sessions, and I do hypnotherapy sessions. But Jen's really, really, as you know, May, she's amazing.
Yes, she is quite amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So she's actually doing a Reiki attunement and certification course Saturday, August 25th from 7 to 9, and also another one Thursday, September 6th from 7 to 9. So again, this Saturday she'll be doing Reiki certifications, and talk about that real quick.
Yeah,
what does that mean? Yeah.
Yeah, no, and everyone wants to know that. So, basically the certification course it's going to just the attunement process attunes you to the Reiki energy. And it's learning the symbols that are used, because the symbols are actually what really helps to just create the energy and send the energy with so much more force. Mm-hmm. We all have natural, we call it Reiki, but you could call it anything. You could call it chi or ki, or, you could call it the Holy Spirit, whatever. It's all the same thing. We all have that natural body in us to heal. And I always use the example of a mother with her child. A child gets a bump or a scrape or a bruise, and the mother naturally puts her hand on her child. That's Reiki. But what I do is teach people how to use that energy that we already have in us consciously. And so the attunement process, it's a lot of self-healing. I teach you the different hand positions. I attune you to the Reiki energy so that it comes out of you in even more full force. And the certification is through the International Association of Reiki Professionals. So this is great for anyone interested in self-healing, going through self-transformation, as well as different healers. It works well with any different healing modality, massage therapists, things like that. So
when is that again? September?
The first one is, we'll put all this information up on the website. The first one is this coming Saturday, August 25th from 7 to 9. And then the second one, if you can't make that for whatever reason, it's Thursday, September 6th from 7 to 9. It's a quick 7 to 9. It's a quick 2 hours, but then there's a lot of self-healing and homework that goes along with it.
And you get checkbacks with me too, and all of that. Like, I'm with you, holding your hand through the entire process, because it is a life transforming process.
Is that something I can bring my daughter with me? She's 11 and she's really quite amazing at these kind of work.
Absolutely.
Okay,
That's a huge. Oh my gosh, May. I'm so excited that you're bringing that up because honestly, Reiki ones are something that I want to start doing with children, and it's something that all kids need. It's just yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
My daughter learned to call in the angel.
Yeah.
To do, creating and clear out, bad energies, and now Reiki work. Why not,
Awesome. Yeah, and so she's been doing this for a long time, and we just, we're living our purpose now. We both are in this 100%, building this practice, and we're committed to building a client base and just doing whatever we can for people. So we're only charging $125 for the attunement, which is
my prices are really low, but I mean the reason they're really low, honestly, is because number one, I love doing it, but number two, it's just I feel like everyone needs this, and like you said, children need this too, and they're so open. I love how open children are to the energy. They don't have all the walls and blocks that adults have, and that's what this process does, is really breaking down those walls. It gets you in touch with your own intuition. When I started going through the process, that was when I really started seeing my guides, listening to my feminine intuition, and male intuition too. Males have intuition too. I should just say feminine. But, really getting in touch with yourself and the sensitive parts of yourself. And so,
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're only charging $125, and that's just so we don't want to turn anyone away. $125 is perfect. So also, if anybody has any questions, just email us. September 2nd, Jen and I are doing an explosive sexual healing intro night from 6 to 8 or 9. Last time we did this, we went an hour over just because we had so many questions. And what we do is it's an information session. We say how to do this, like how to go home and have your man, so we have couples show up, bring your boyfriends, bring your girlfriends, and just talk about what's going on. She feels like she has to pee during sex. Good. Let it out,
Yeah.
And a lot of times, it's great for her to hear that, okay, I know what's going on now, and it's great for him to know that he's doing it right. And it's just such a process, to be in that together. And also for singles, just to figure out what's going on and be able to, know what's going on for your next partner. And so we'll just talk about how to do G-spot orgasm, how to do post-hypnotic suggestions, how to throw in the affirmation during orgasm that, gets in without the walls there.
Yeah.
It's just 2 hours of information, 3 hours of pure information. So all that information will be up on the website. And of course we do sessions. We've had 8 sessions in the last 7 days, and we're just on fire. We're working solely on referrals right now.
Yeah.
And people are just getting excited about it. So we're doing sessions at nights, and then we start, putting sessions in front of those when we can.
Awesome.
But usually around 6 o'clock.
So people should really come and get it while it's still good, while it's good, and it's just I love supporting beginning life work businesses. I know this is your life work. I know that this is what you're called to do, and you're so good at it, and I'm so excited to get to be one of the first to discover you and talk about you.
Thank you.
It's our privilege and gift.
And so like I said, while we're starting right now, even our prices for our session are rock bottom. We made a plan to double them in 2 months. So we're doubling our prices.
We get to get in now while they're
Get in now.
Yeah. Just giving the gift away for cheap.
Yeah, we said 2 months, we said 2 months, half a month ago. So it's actually one and a half months from now.
So when is it going to change? Is that going to be the beginning of December or beginning of November?
Let's see, it's August, end of October.
Yeah, early November.
Yeah.
End of October, people. You got to get in while it's good. So I look forward to my full session. Thank you so much for introducing me to this and allowing me to just start, doing halfway so that I could talk about that. And I can't wait to come back and report out on what the full sessions will do and bring to me.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Oh, you are amazing.
You're a pro.
Love it. All right. That was great.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much for being here. We'll be in touch, and we'll come back in a couple of weeks and share with the audience what the real session is like.
Oh! Do you want more sex, lies, and consciousness? Access our archives at sexliesandconsciousness.com. While you're there, please leave your comments or suggestions for the show and participate in current SLC conversations with other listeners worldwide.